Great League is back, and today, trainers, we're checking out my best teams for that format. Overall, today we're gonna check out 4 teams in total, analyzing their biggest strategies to take the biggest advantage over your opponent, and of course, we're gonna check out the core breakers so that you can learn what you should be afraid of with each individual team. So, starting off with the first one, and we're having Annihilate up in front, followed up by Mantin and Registeel. These 3 Pokemon are super meta for Great League, and obviously they form a strong bond. What you need to be afraid of though is something like a Clodsire. That Pokemon can resist your counters from that Annihilate damage, while it has access to Earthquake for your Registeel and of course Stone Edge for your Mantin. However, this team's backline is super strong defensively, which means that even the super effective moves can easily be tanked, and of course the mud shots are never gonna be enough to farm any of these 3 Pokemon. Even when it is super effective against Registeel, well, the defense is too high for Clodsire to do any serious damage with that fast attack, and of course the Earthquake will still put you kinda below 50%, which means that they always need 2 of those deadly charge attack to take you out of the way. So overall, I guess that you need to play with Ice Beam and Aerial Ace on your Mantin. You are not gonna regret this moveset. Water Pulse not so much, while Annihilate is the real deal with this team. You need to go ahead and use your Shadow Ball at all costs, while at the second move you can either choose that amazing Ice Punch to help you against those flyers, or just go for that Night Slash over those ghost types. However, I believe that Ice Punch is gonna help you more against Gligar, which is a threat that you definitely need some coverage up against you, while that Night Slash is gonna help you eventually against Trevenants and stuff like that. So it all depends on what you are facing out there. This is the final week of the season, and perhaps you need to get your hands on that Night Slash if you're facing a lot of ghost types, or just go for the Ice Punch if you want to have extra coverage for the flyers. Next up, we have a very weird team because we're gonna be using Skarmory with Serperior and Whiskas. So this team might be looking weird, but at the same time it makes a lot of sense because of how elemental it can be. You can absolutely wreak havoc on your enemy's defenses with your spammy charge attacks from that backline of yours, or just go ahead and resist pretty much anything your opponent is gonna throw on your Skarmory. Skarmory obviously is gonna be afraid of the electric type, so here is where the backline comes in super clutch. Not only that, but can also help you up against a Bastiodon, as you can see in this battle. Overall, I think that Serperior is gonna be utilized with this team as the perfect safe switch, and at the worst case scenario you are gonna fall miserably against something like an Altaria, but at the same time you can absolutely take it out of the way with your Skarmory. So you can see here that sometimes switching out aggressively to your Serperior might actually be a great benefit for you, because you can have the clear field for your Whiskas on the very end game. And for Whiskas, you definitely need Mud Bomb and Scald. If you feel and wake up kinda spicy sometimes, feel free to go ahead and rotate around Blizzard, but I guess that the standard moveset of Mud Bomb and Scald as your charge attacks are gonna be the main priority for you. For this season, I guess that Skarmory up in front is gonna be able to do so much work against a lot of meta relevant leads, and obviously you're gonna have a great time with your Brave Bird, but of course the debuff is always gonna be there for you. What I recommend to do here is to go ahead, throw that Brave Bird pretty much all the time, and then aggressively switch out to your Serperior, and perhaps then you can have the upper hand over your opponents. The only real core breaker that I could find for this team is gonna be this Alola Sandslash that I have as a core breaker listed here, but overall I guess that even that one cannot stop the amazing back-to-back movesets and moves that you're gonna throw on that Pokemon. So with a little bit of synergy, you can always overcome this obstacle as well. Moving on, and we have a team that on PvP doesn't look that strong at any aspect of the game, but at the same time is gonna be looking super strong unofficially on that Great League format, and that's mainly because of how good this team can be elementally. You got a grass type up in front, you got a fire type as your closer, and you got a water type as your classic safe switch. I think that Side of Alligator is gonna be able to do so much damage even to its water counterparts, and of course you can always get access to Ice Beam for the one-shots against the dragon types or just do some extra damage on those flyers in total. I also think that this team might struggle against Dragonair, but to be fair, Dragonair is always pretty glassy for the meta, so you can always play around it, and with Ferrothorn up in front you can always resist those moves that this Dragonair is gonna throw up against you. Talonflame now is gonna be able to be utilized with this team as a pure closer, able to do so much damage with its moves, and if you do not want to use Fly, well, I guess that Brave can always be a much more suitable move for you, especially on the closing part for some extra pressure on the opponent. What I figured out is that with your Ferrothorn you do not always need to run that Thunder, because Flash Cannon is always gonna be clutch for a lot of opponents. Feraligatr now with Ice Beam is gonna help you a ton against the Flyers, while Hydro Cannon is gonna be your main move to go. If you want to use something like a Crunch, feel free to do so, be my guest, but at the same time I think that Ice Beam is gonna serve you much better. So that is gonna be all about this team, and now let's move forward into team number 4. I'm not gonna lie to you, I know that my teams might not look that strong for the entire meta of Great League, but this final one is gonna be the strongest of them all, even though on PvP once again it is underperforming. So the main aspect of this team is to destroy down the competition with your backline, while Quagsire up in front can easily grab some shields out of play. Also, your backline can protect Quagsire from further harm, so I guess that we're looking at an all-around team. Not only that, but also Quagsire alongside Drapion can provide some extra coverage for a Lantern, so that your Noctowl at the very end game can absolutely do so much damage over the opponents. I think that this team in particular doesn't have any weaknesses at all, and this is mainly because of how safe Shadow Quagsire can be against the entire meta. On the long term of each battle, even those grass types might actually be in a pickle because of Sludge Bomb. I'm just joking around, because of back-to-back Stone Edges, since this Pokemon Quagsire, I mean, with its derpy face, can provide some back-to-back nukes on those grass types and absolutely surprise them with its crazy energy gain from those mud shots. If you want to go for Aqua Tail, be my guest, but once again I think that Mud Bomb here is gonna help you much more against those steel types, because if you run the moveset of Mud Shot, Aqua Tail and Stone Edge, you are never gonna be enough to finish off those steel types, and this team with this exact backline might actually need that extra coverage for those steel type Pokemon. So that is gonna be all for today, trainers. Thank you for watching, for sticking around till the end with me. It really means a lot for my channel. Before you go, as always, leave a huge like, subscribe to my content, and I hope to see you all into the next one.